This bait a lot. It's the Mega Bass Flap Slap. It's a flat-sided crankbait. It's been around for probably 10 years. Guys, this bait right here, I'm telling you, I don't understand why it is not a household name. This is a incredible bass catcher. Best flat-sided crankbait I have ever used. It's got a window of time in the pre-spawn that we're coming up on that it's just outstanding. It's just one of the biggest five fish limit I ever weighed in a Bassmaster tournament came on this thing in early March at Lake Gunnersville. It is just an incredible lure to use in February, March, and early April. So I sort of want to give you guys some tips and advice on how I like to fish it, what I want to do with it, all that type of stuff. So the first thing that you want to do with the flap slap is it rises slowly like that. And when you're fishing it in water temperatures in the 50s, which that is the best water temperature to fish it in, you need to put some weight on it. So I've got a suspend strip on there. Sometimes you can just upgrade the hooks, a little bigger hooks, and it'll do the same thing. But you want to get this thing where it suspends or just slowly sinks, because when you're cranking this thing, you like slow cranking it down like that, and you stop it like for a stop and go retrieve, in that cold water, you don't want it rising up to lose your depth. You want it to, you're working it down there, you let it stop for a second, you want it to be able to pause or to sink to maintain that depth, because in the pre-spawn, you really want to try to get this bait down into that 4 to 5 foot range, which is about the maximum depth for it on a long cast with light line. Most of the time I use it on 8 to 10 pound test Seaguar Invictus line, and I do fish it on a spinning rod most of the time. You can cast it on a bait caster, but it sort of catches wind a little bit. It's a light bait, and you can cast further with the spinning rod with 8 pound test and just finesse it out a little bit better. And the retrieve on it is another thing. It's sort of a tricky retrieve, how you want to retrieve the bait, because it's sort of like, I consider it like a cross between a jerk bait and a crankbait, the way they work it. So the way I work it is I throw it out there and I'll reel it down, again, with the spinning rod. I just got the bait caster here for demonstration. But I'll reel it down for 8 or 10 cranks, and then I'll pull it like that, and then maybe twitch it a little bit, start reeling it a couple cranks, twitch it a little bit, pull it. So I'm really wanting just sort of a subtle stop and go retrieve, where the bait goes down like this, down to the max depth. Then I'll pull a little bit, maybe twitch it like that a little bit, let it stop, and reel it a little bit, twitch it a little bit. Just try to fish it slow, and just don't use some type of uniform retrieve. You don't want to just throw it out there and just reel it in with a crankbait. So just twitch your rod tip a little bit, pull it a little bit, just experiment like that. I've caught a lot more fish with that pulling and twitching technique more than anything else. Okay, the next thing is like where you want to fish this thing at.